Okay, what's up, Spirit Gang? Welcome back to my channel, and thank you for tuning in if you're new. So as you all know, if you've been tuning in, we're reading a book, of course. Well, not of course, but we're reading a book, The Ascending Goddess. We're on part 3 of chapter 1. This is gonna be the last video that I do breaking the chapters up into sections. What I'm gonna start doing is just having each chapter uploaded, which of course the videos are gonna be a little bit longer and whatnot, but I just think that that's the best direction to go into with this particular book, especially since it does have different sections and stuff. So with that being said, thank you all again for tuning in, and like I said, we're on part 3 of the first chapter. So this section is called The Aroma of Rain. The earthly soil became petrified, cracked from the unbearable heat. How many fires poured forth? The planet's apparel is bursting at the seams, and in many places its parched fabric is being torn to shreds with a loud crack. Matter cannot withstand such incandescence, and the very existence of the begotten world is very much in question. Dry, intensely hot stones are blazing with heat, and the entire soil beneath them is becoming petrified. Rain is needed. Oh, how all living things long to drink vivifying moisture. The night approaching like a dark cloud threatens to reduce stones to ashes. Yet day, too, cannot last forever, for the fire is able to incinerate everything and to turn to cosmic dust all that have indeed been created from this dust. Rain alone can save the world, bringing the blessing of the waters of eternity. Turbulent streams have gushed into earthly realms, but for some reason, these streams have shone and sparkled. Though there is nothing strange in this, after all, waters bear within themselves the substance of fire. The raging currents have flowed out as a broad river, filling all crevices and the smallest hollows in the cracked crust of the earth. Thus, seas and oceans, rivers and lakes were formed. There was so much water that it now could cover the entire surface of the planet. But where then would it be possible for the fire to crystallize, for which is needed a dense form? A special alloy had to be brought forth, and the universal flame could not dissolve completely in the streams of water, for the fire was called upon to accomplish its own mission. They were supposed to coexist peacefully side by side, and the land allowed itself to be clasped in the arms of water, while the latter, in turn, simply sprawled at the feet of the petrified Lord and permitted the land to rise above it. Thus the two appeared to be confined within a single circle. However, being attached to the earth by a heavenly union, they were both close and distant, similar and dissimilar, united and at the same time separate, for each retained the inviolability of its own borders. Ah, how hard it is to stand side by side while representing two opposite poles. How can the land meet with water? In the bowels of water's masses lies hidden a quiet and gentle disposition, yet can water's dreams possibly remain a mystery for the fire? The latter, too, allows itself to be dominated, obediently sinking to the deep bottom, while the streams of water cheerfully rush across new soils, flooding the earthly crust. So they change places. At one point, the land rises above the water, and at another, the water covers the land. They do not share power, but always make reasonable concessions to each other. Yet, still one has never left itself. Yet still one has never let itself be fully controlled by the other, each preserving its own pole. Perhaps they merge together only because one principle eternally aspires towards the other. If one should dissolve in the other, what would happen then? A huge muddy puddle pressing against the tender core of the planet from all sides. To avoid losing their own face is the task set by the Creator before both the fire and the water. Be united, yet at the same time, sacredly guard your own true image. You need to understand woman, the very crown of gentleness, even when her feelings are splashing over the brim. An emotion may swell surreptitiously inside, resulting in a certain action, and the splash of the manifested inner fire generates a whole storm, with the crushing force of the waves rushing at full speed in a desperate attempt to achieve an unknown goal. Water strives to establish its power within defined boundaries, and for a while, it does succeed in subduing the forces of all the elements to itself. However, the water's perturbation may be quite short-lived. Once again, peace is established where the highest agitation was previously seen. Water simply preserves the memory of experiences in the spheres of eternity, where through the churning of waters, whole worlds are born. Water, identified with woman, wishes to give birth to something, for its first duty on the earth is the reproduction of life. And can woman be blamed for her desire to yield the fruit she created, sanctified by the design of the Creator through the breath of his fiery spirit? Life originated in water by the power of woman's desire. The fruit ripened, being formed by eternal currents, and one form replaced another. But the structure, whose main mass consisted of water, was unsuitable for life on the land, and she so loved to delight the entire world with the creation of her hands. Here was needed the help of the fire, crystallized in the formation of the coarse earthly crust, and, if reluctantly, the fire began to respond to the call, allowing the generated form to step into the spheres of its realms. The synthesis of fire and water yielded a new creation that, after confidently climbing out of a deep gulf of primordial oceans, decisively rose upwards, and now, from the revealed heights, established itself in the position of ruler over land and sea. So, serving as the meeting place of water and fire, this form appeared as the crown of creation, whose name became human being. Have the two poles been resting next to each other peacefully enough? Does not the entity that combined the two principles into one represent a battlefield? Yes. Human beings have turned out to be quite contradictory. First, one element prevails, then the other. And what kept confidently afloat just a moment ago may have all at once sunk to the bottom. It is good when one smoothly yields place to the other, without causing a conflict or a stressful situation. Harmony is a difficult state to achieve, especially when one aims to gain dominance by violently repressing the other. But where does such a trait originate, when violence is not inherent in either water or fire? Could it possibly be that stagnant waters were showing righteous indignation by generating wrath within themselves, while myriads of fires chained in stone arms froze, showing a cold reflection of indifference and complete apathy towards everything that was going on around them? Have such small changes in their qualitative state resulted in such serious consequences after intertwining with the great synthesis? Indeed, time is able to illumine all the constituent elements embedded in the final being. For it is precisely from the latter's perishable structure that the eternal must be ignited, a result of uniting the two principles of opposite poles into a single whole. Time is passing, and, just as billions of years ago, water aspires towards the fire of the heavens. Yet, having no strength to rise beyond the earth's atmosphere, it crystallizes, following the example of the fire. In this way, giant clouds form, which easily flit across the sky, vigilantly peering ahead in search of a place where they can hang like a dark mantle and pour forth their vivifying moisture. Water has become capable of reproducing life, even in dense soil conditions. Thus, its abilities have progressed, thanks to the land, which has become so pliable under the influence of its streams. There is no longer a need to flood the earth's crust for thousands of years to prepare it for the role of fatherhood. A few drops of rain are sufficient. And the triumph of life will be clearly, A few drops of rain are sufficient, and the triumph of life will be clearly manifest. Oh, how high you have ascended, O woman, sprawled out as you are at the feet of a man. You soar so high that you are already out of reach. Lumps of stone will fail to rise to the heights, being unable to float next to you like weightless little clouds. Water came before terra firma, and in order to elevate the earth's crust to the height of its position, a great deal of effort is required to rarefy the dense structure. Water acts from the inside, and performance unfolds on the outside. It ignites within itself a fiery spark to find the best approach to the fire. And time is steadily approaching, the hour of triumph, when the great waters will pour forth as the last shower of grace, able to imbue the whole of Earth's crust, as it rarefies the dense matter. And this will no longer be ordinary rain, but fiery rain, whereby the two are fused into one. However, you will be unable to see it with your earthly eyes, since only hearts in love are capable of inhaling the ethereal aroma of fire-breathing rain, pouring forth in each droplet of nectar from the heavens. Okay, so that, my loves, is the end of chapter 1. I may or may not upload the whole chapter 1 together. I don't know. It sounds right, but at the same time, I'm not sure. But for the next chapter, which is chapter 2 and beyond, I definitely will be uploading each chapter. So the videos will be longer, but you'll get a whole chapter instead of just those breaks in each chapter. So thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if y'all want to have a discussion about this book, whether it be just something that stuck out to you or whatever, because like I said in the first video, a lot of things stick out to me, or if I didn't say that, I'm saying it now. But yeah, a lot of things stick out to me just because of like recent events and situations that I've been in. So I mean, I think discussion is definitely in order, but we'll see. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, I do love you.